A palindrome is a word, number, phrase, or the sequence of characters which reads the same backwards as forward. For example, borrow or rob, yo, banana boy, or simpler, kayak, race car, or even for me, Tenet is the best film of 2020. Not that there's much competition, but still, the message remains. Tenet appears to be a palindrome, both in title and in scenes. What happens forwards happens backwards. A true masterpiece of a film idea, executed immensely well by Christopher Nolan. The confusion of this film is truly immense. It makes you sit there in your chair, honestly planning your next viewing whilst at your first. I think this is what Christopher Nolan does beautifully. He plants seeds from the start, making callbacks all throughout the film, plotting a film which not only creates its own atmosphere but redesigns our perception of what a film can actually do, somehow making people enjoy their own confusion, wanting to revisit it until they not only understand it, they actually enjoy it. Some of the acting performances in this film are truly amazing. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Robert Pattinson, and Elizabeth Debicki are some of the standout performances in this film and are really impressive. Especially Elizabeth Debicki, which honestly, every scene with her being held hostage, I was honestly fearing for her life. It really shows you how impressive her performance was. However, Washington has a truly awe-inspiring performance, and it really shows that Black Klansman was not just a one-off. Washington and Patterson together enliven things a great deal, and with both oozing charisma and swagger, they make the following along of their collective plight worthwhile. I wouldn't be surprised if either were chosen for the role of the next James Bond. Personally, I lean towards Washington, however, he would need to prove his British accent. However, in this film, he definitely proves his action scenes and his physical attributes. Robert Pattinson also proves that he can play the role of James Bond, and his upcoming The Batman proves to me that he is on his way to becoming an action star, getting rid of his previous well-known movies like Twilight and, well, Twilight. But yeah, all in all, I think the acting in this film is just amazing, and I can't see any negatives like at all with any of the performances in it. The protagonist's mission has much to do with sci-fi as it does with undercover intelligence, and sees him grappling with the physics of time and inverting the flow of entropy. The notion of time travelling backwards allows Nolan to throw in some truly eye and mind boggling scenes, including hand-to-hand combat in which one antagonist's actions are inverted. There's an eccentric back and forth highway shootout, with one set of characters flowing backwards in times, mixing it up with another set charging forward. I also have to say some of the scenes are utterly linear, such as the hijacked jumbo jet ploughing across the tarmac and through the wall of a super secret airport facility. Watching this scene and also knowing that this scene has nothing to do with CGI, mind-blowingly impossible to even think how they pulled it off. You watch it and you can't even describe how amazing Christopher Nolan actually crashed an airliner into a hangar. And for me, this just kind of proves how far Christopher Nolan will go just to get a really good scene. However, like everything, Nolan truly dazzles me when he completely flips action on his head, such as the time-swapping scene at the airport where Washington somehow fights himself, or his older films such as the plane scene in Dark Knight Rises, or Joseph Gordon-Levitt's scene dragging passed out individuals down the hallway in Inception. Nolan is one of the few filmmakers who is truly capable of producing images and sequences we have never seen before, and us truly believing that somehow this is possible when the actual idea is so not possible. Later on, the action begins to feel more assaultive, replacing novelty with sensory bombardment in final military-styled raid, in which we get various parties becoming hopelessly tangled through time. During this scene, we get a specific shot of a building getting blown up both forward and backwards through time. You can't even describe how cool it must have been to film a scene like that. Just like the actual performance of it and the fact that he made it in practical effects. Because you could have made even cooler scenes with even more advanced technology like CGI and visual effects, but he chose to do it in practical effects, and you can really tell. And I think it proves that this film is just amazingly immersive because of the fact they have practical effects. All in all, I think Christopher Nolan's action sequences in this film are some of his best yet, and I hope he carries on this specific franchise and gives us more scenes like the ones in this film. The quote, "Don't try to understand it, feel it." It perfectly sums up Tenet. It has to be felt, to be experienced, to be immersed in. I think some of the criticisms, like it's too long and the sound was off, these are really bad criticisms because of the fact that it's just not true. I think if you get bored by it, you have to argue that maybe it's not the type of film for you. And it wasn't a bad film, you're just not that type of person. Nobody can say that this film wasn't well done. But one of the criticisms that really annoys me is the fact that some people are saying complexity for complexity's sake isn't the way to go. I would argue complexity for complexity's sake is the perfect way to go for this movie. Just like Inception, the idea within this movie was so much bigger than the actual movie. To make you think and to want to understand it, that was the point of the movie. To grow with it, and whenever a movie makes you want to think, that's when the movie has done a good job. That's why we needed the complexity. So people watch this film, and obviously the first time around, you just did not understand it. To make you want to rewatch it, to make you want to understand it, that was a beautiful message within this film. Is you never really understand something. Don't try to understand it, to feel it. And that's why I love this film. Overall, I rate Tenet 89 out of 100. It is one of my favourite films of 2020 so far. It's very thought-provoking. The action sequences are just phenomenal. And overall, it is just a really good movie to go watch with friends.